What are your concerns over the sinkhole on Highway 174, and are you concerned that this might help happen elsewhere?
Well, although it's called Highway 174, it is a City of Ottawa road, and the maintenance of that road is a responsibility of the City of Ottawa. I think it's clear that occasionally you will see sinkholes occur in road infrastructure in every jurisdiction. In this particular case, it appears to be very isolated, but nonetheless it has to be taken very seriously, and it underlines how important highway maintenance is. Again, I say that that's a City of Ottawa road, and it's their responsibility. If you look at the provincial highways have been measured as being the safest in North America for the last number of years, and we place very, very high priority on road safety. In fact, we do have the safest roads in North America.
You're no stranger to how things work with the City of Ottawa. Some of the material that's used in these aged pipes, over 50 years old, is corrugated steel. You know, there's calls that we should be transferring them all to concrete now. Do you think there should be a push for that?
Well, there are new technologies, not only new materials, but there's new technologies and new ways and new engineering for maintaining highways. And it's incumbent on every jurisdiction responsible for highways to make sure that they do whatever they can to catch up to that new technology and new materials. Certainly we encourage that as the province. We encourage the municipalities for new technology. We provide best practices and best technologies available to municipalities across the province, and then municipalities have the responsibility to accept that advice and that new technology or not. The City of Ottawa has not had serious issues such as this very often. I can't recall the last time this type of thing happened, but it's a wake-up call that we have to be very, very diligent in our highway infrastructure, because it means safety to the public.
The city is going to spend $340 million on infrastructure maintenance. Is any more money coming out of Inspire to help the city?
Well, when you look at what's inside the limits of the City of Ottawa, you have infrastructure that's owned by the city and infrastructure that's owned by the province. The infrastructure that is owned by the province has seen unprecedented investment. We're seeing over the last 2.5 to 3 years projects just completed or just starting on Highway 417, both east and west, worth $620 million. That's unprecedented. You look at the 4-laning, the HOV lanes, you look at the $120 million that will be going into expanding 417 West from Nicholas to the split, the work at fixing the split. That investment is unprecedented for the City of Ottawa. Put that on top of the $600 million that's going into transit, and it's very extensive. So we are investing. We are also continuing the uploading of services for municipalities. That has meant billions of dollars. The City of Ottawa this year is getting the benefit, yes, or maybe you can recall the exact number, but
it's in excess of $20 million this year.
So that's $20 million that the city has room to spend, which they didn't have before, because we've taken up $20 million of servicing that was previously paid for by the City of Ottawa. So our investments have been very, very significant. We did just before the last Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference right here in Ottawa, we announced a $60 million down payment on new infrastructure project for municipalities across the province.
Aside from whose responsibility this is, Minister, you still live here, your constituents live here and are very much affected by this. There's been some insinuations that the west end of the city is better served than the east. What's your response to that?
Well, my response to that is to look at the $120 million that is going into widening Highway 417 from Nicholas Street to the split, to look at the $22 million that's going into extending Hunt Club West, where it will meet up with Highway 417 in the very foreseeable future. If you look at a lot of the other infrastructure projects a significant amount have gone into to the East End as well.
Minister, the province is giving money to the city to study a possible widening of the 174 east of where the sinkhole occurred. Wouldn't it be wiser to spend the money on actually fixing the section of Highway 174 that's already affected?
Well, let me be very clear. We don't tell municipalities what to do. We respect them as a level of government. We respect their independence. We respect their right to determine what their priorities will be or should be. So they decide where the new transit system, where the LRT is going to go. We respect that. They decide where their priorities are for roads or sewer and water, and we respect that. So we respond to the priorities that are set by the municipalities, and the question should be properly put to members of council and to the mayor in terms of what their priorities are.